The virtual campus has remained competitive over the years and strives to continue remaining competitive through the charging of affordable fees, as well as ensuring that there is accessible and flexible online education provision to our learners wherever they are. We also strive to promote accessibility so that they can study from any quarters or any places in this country where they will be joining us from. And therefore, that is the strategy that has propelled us so far. But additionally, we have made a good and robust investment in our ICT infrastructure to support the many dynamics and changes that are there in the teaching world. And this infrastructure is what has helped us to reach our learners wherever they are and ensure that they are getting equivalent education, that which has the same quality as that which an in-person student is enjoying at St. Paul's University. The clientele that the virtual campus targets are students or learners who are unable to access any of our physically available campuses. For whatever reasons, they are not able to present themselves in person for learning in a classroom setting, but because they're either too busy or they travel a lot or they're in very far-flung areas or out of the country, then it becomes very difficult for them to be available physically. The virtual campus is the vehicle through which they're able to study from wherever they are based on their diverse needs, as well as be able to strike a balance between their work and their life and everything else they are grappling with wherever they are. It is a necessary alternative, and it is also a shift that we must all embrace. We are all cognizant of the fact that technology is taking a central role in our lives, in most of the spheres really. Technology is taking a very central role. If you look at transport, it's become very easy to ride around in an Uber. If you look at the convenience and the comfort that everyone is seeking from the comfort of wherever they are, be it ordering for a meal from a restaurant, Glovo will deliver it to you. And therefore, we cannot afford to ignore the place of online learning and virtual teaching and learning in the current times, because people are just seeking for convenience. A few years ago, someone said that M-Pesa would be the bank of the future. There was a lot of skepticism. People did not understand what that meant. But if you look at COVID-19 pandemic, and it's just showing us and teaching us that it is possible to actually transact in a moneyless manner, many people were not for the idea, and they had never thought about it previously until they realized there is no other way out of it. And therefore, virtual teaching and learning has a place now and in the future, because that is what will deliver convenience and flexibility in a way that helps each and every learner's needs to be catered for, while at the same time help them to engage in their educational endeavors and meet their educational goals in everything that they strive to do. For a new online student, when they first sign up to study at the virtual campus, the experience right from the onset is very captivating and very interesting, because once they have selected a course of their own choice, they are able to initiate the process of application from their end. The process is automated, and that request is processed, after which, when they have fulfilled the criteria for their course, then they are able to join us. And the first thing that we do is put them through an orientation process, which is very rigorous, where we help them understand what the university is all about and what the guidelines and the policies are to ensure that they have a seamless learning process with us. We then embark on registration, the registration process for their courses for the semester. Once that is done on the students' portal, then that automatically leads them to the e-learning portal if they have fulfilled the requirements, including payment of fees. Now, the e-learning portal opens a whole arena of an interesting learning experience, because that is where the virtual campus is hosted. All the teaching and learning activities are conducted in there within that portal. So students have a chance to interact with their lecturers as well as their colleagues within the class through the many tools that are available within the e-learning portal. So there is room to foster cognitive presence, teaching presence, and social presence. A lot of collaboration is encouraged between the learners, and the tools that are there to support those activities include discussion forums and chats, and the lecturers also embrace the use of these tools by provision of quizzes, videos for watching and reflection, and any other engaging activities, and engage this learner every week. And so there are expectations on the side of the lecturer and the side of the student that have to be tackled each and every week, all the way to the end of the semester, where eventually the end of semester exams are conducted, and those ones are conducted online at the moment. So it is an interesting journey that is positioned at the growth of the student, as well as a very enriching experience, so long as they have the right tools and the skills to navigate through an online learning environment. Wow, the future for virtual teaching and learning for online education is humongous. There are a lot of prospects, and there is a lot of room for exploration. The future can barely be defined because we are in a technological era, and technology is defining how we do things. At St. Paul's University, I foresee a great future for the virtual campus, because there is room for inclusion of many more programs on virtual teaching and learning, fully online programs. I also see a future where there is a possibility of tailor-making courses for hosting in other platforms that are accessible globally, the MOOCs courses. I also see a future where there is an internationalization component of the student population, which will lead to the growth, because the virtual campus has made a huge investment in an ultra-modern teaching facility that is meant to support teaching of students wherever they are, that is going to guarantee flexibility and self-paced learning. We do have an e-compliant boardroom that is meant to support online defenses for our graduate students. We also have a remote teaching and learning facility which promotes blended learning, because in that facility a lecturer can come in with students physically, sit in that setup that is meant to be very collaborative, and then we have students joining online and teach both sets of students and encompassing their needs while at it. We also now have studios that are going to promote audiovisual production of teaching and learning resources, and then we are going to have lecturers directly speak to their content, and all these resources and facilities will help us to get into the future that is visibly fully online. I also see prospects of having courses with practical components, heavy practical components being handled online, because now with the technologies that are coming in, there is room for simulations and virtual labs, and therefore it is possible to engage in some of those courses that ideally would not have seemed possible in online teaching and learning. And also there's room for collaborative engagements. That is the way of the world right now. with all the many collaborations we have with many institutions, it is very much possible for us to enforce some of those collaborations through the virtual campus. For example, co-teaching, where our students and some other students in another institution get to be facilitated from their various locations by one lecturer. There's also the need to consider the many technologies and how they can facilitate the provision of quality online education. The world now is having conversations around artificial intelligence tools such as ChatGPT and associated technologies. And therefore, the university and the virtual campus has to align itself with the many changes that are happening in the technological world, because some of these are important education technologies that can actually propel our course and help us to deliver more quality in terms of our programs provision.